Well, here with us to talk about those issues are Vito Award from Opening Doors. It's a charity for older lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people. And Dana Rosenfeld, a sociologist from Keele University who specialises in studying older people. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Well, Dana, it's interesting. It's not something that people really think about when they think about ageing. You know, we all have different issues. Are you going to carry on working? Where are you going to live? That sort of thing. But people sort of often assume that there will be families to help them in older age, and of course if you don't have one, that's it.
Well, up to a point, you're correct. I think people do, first of all, assume a particular type of family. They assume the nuclear family with heterosexual marriage and children, which, as we know, is less common. Families are becoming increasingly diverse. And people also assume that if the family is there, that they will step up and provide care, that they can step up and provide care. And in fact, those things are a little bit more complicated than we tend to think.
It's interesting when they say 80% of people were not concerned about who cared for them when they get older. I would say 80% of the lesbian and gay community are concerned about getting older. And for a start, children weren't an option in my generation. A lot of women did have children because the only way you could have them was to get married. And that's why less gay men had children than lesbians.
So why do you think particularly people are concerned from that community?
Well, because I suppose my my generation has lived through a tremendous amount of discrimination and criminalisation and persecution. So they're very nervous when they're getting older and frailer about the caregivers. I mean, national statistics would show that caregivers are likely to be informal. About 80% are informal, so they're likely to be children or relatives of some sort. Whereas the lesbian and gay community tend to rely more on their friends. Their friends, one of the positive things about being lesbian or gay is that we have a really good friendship network, and we rely a lot on our friends. Our friends are much closer than many of our family.
Can I just step in? I mean, I think that one of the things I studied lesbian and gay aging as well, and one of the things that we've learned from studying lesbian and gay aging is how incredibly diverse care resources can be in later life, and that they're not exclusive to lesbian and gay people. I mean, older people who are heterosexual or who are bisexual or who don't have a sexuality also have got much more diverse and rich social networks in later life, or can do, that are not necessarily related to being a parent.
Yeah. How much difference does it make if you are from what we call blended family in your older age?
When it comes to children stepping up for care, well, first of all, we have to understand that children are not a magic bullet. Just because you have children doesn't mean they're available to care, doesn't mean they don't have other constraints, and doesn't mean that relationships within the family don't have a part to play. In terms of care for blended families, sociologists have found that there is the filial obligation to care for older parents remains if, for example, you've got a stepmother, but the commitment to care for a stepmother or step-parent is not as strong as it is for a biological parent. But that said, those commitments alone do not necessarily translate into the provision of care. Care can be very disruptive. Older parents do not necessarily want their children to come in and care for them, or in intimate ways, and gender has a large role to play as well. So I think we need to get away from this notion that having children, having biological children, is going to translate to direct provision of care in later life. It doesn't work that way. I'm
very interested, Vito, in what you said about the sort of the friendship circles, and we've been looking at living longer throughout the whole of the week here on Breakfast. Do you think there's, given that so many of us are going to live a lot longer, we need to have a sort of sea change in the way we approach how we look after each other?
Yes, I think so. I mean, ideally, I suppose every old person would prefer to carry on living in their own home, and I saw the Leeds project is a good one. But what my anxiety is, and the anxiety of Opening Doors, who I represent, is that will those people who care for us provide activities for us, support us, and keep our lives going, if you like, be sensitive to our needs and our culture, and respectful and valuing our culture and our difference.
All right. Vito, Dana, thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our series continues, and on Friday we'll be hosting a live debate about any of the issues you've been concerned about as well.
Not much debate about the weather. It's pretty rough, really. Here's Carol.